Wait a minute. The Epstein files? Why are you talking about that? That was last week's news. This week, Tom, you're supposed to be talking about the halftime show at the Goy Bowl. You're supposed to be talking about the Goy Bowl, dude. The Goy football game, bro. That's this week's news. What you doing talking about old news? Talking about the Epstein list. It's February, man. Move on. It's like, nah, I mean, guys, if you want my opinion on the Goy football game, the big Goy football Super Bowl, I don't give a shit. I just don't give a shit at all. I don't care about the halftime show. I don't care about Bad Bunny. I don't care about TPUSA's Kid Rock concert. They're both stupid, and I just don't give a shit, dude. I don't care. And to anybody who thinks, okay, Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl made it gay, like you're acting like football's gay now? Like it hasn't been gay, dude, for the past, 15 years? What are you talking about, dude? Are you just delusional? So no, I'm not going to go into all that, but I just don't care. I don't care. I went to a Super Bowl party, had fun. Nobody gave a shit about the game. Nobody gave a shit about the game, and that's basically it, because the game sucked. It was boring, and the Super Bowl is lame and retarded, and it hasn't been cool for over a decade. So we're not talking about Bad Bunny or the Goy Super Bowl. We're here to talk about the list, okay? The Epstein list. And in my last video, I made a video already talking about the files. And in that video, if you haven't already seen it, I was basically a little concerned over the fact that why would they release these files now? Why would they do it in this way? Because them doing this kind of admits to a lot. It admits to the Mossad angle. It basically confirms Pizzagate. It does a lot of things. There's also some other stuff that we learned. Why are they doing this? Why are they admitting to us? Why are they showing us this? And so that was basically the whole point of my last video is look, we should be a little cautious here. And I've had some time to think about it, and I've had some time to observe people and see how they react and see how society has reacted to this. And so in this video, I'm going to do a little speculation. So I'm not guaranteeing this is why, but this is what I'm kind of coming to. And a lot of you guys posted comments on my other video kind of saying this, and I'm sure there are other people that are going to have the same opinion as well. I don't think this is going to be completely original. It's looking like this is what's going on here. And now, first of all, you have to kind of acknowledge there's two different realities to the world right now. And one reality is the old boomer population, the ones that don't use the internet, and when they do, it's just like cat videos. It's never any crazy political stuff. So the only access they have to news is through the mainstream media. And when the files dropped, the mainstream media, by and large, basically refused to report on it. Now, I don't know how much of that has changed since, the past week or so, but for the most part, yeah, Fox News, CNN, they were basically not covering it at all. One of the biggest stories of the decade, and no news. So it was very apparent that mainstream media as a whole did not want older conservatives or older liberals kind of knowing that much about it. If they did report on it, it was very, it was in passing. It was like, yeah, the files got released and it confirms Trump. Or on Fox News, it's like, yeah, the files got released and it confirms all these Democrats. That's the end of it. It doesn't go into any depth, essentially. And then there's the second reality, which is the reality of the internet. The reality of the chronically online people like us, or the people who are just well connected. Maybe you are a boomer, but you don't watch mainstream media. Maybe you just go on X. Maybe you're on Instagram and you get more political stuff. And I feel like that's the majority of people, to be honest. The majority of people who are at least vocal. And it's been nonstop. The mainstream media really does not matter anymore. You can have people posting about shit all day, every day on Instagram, X, Blue Sky, TikTok, whatever social media platform you can think of, everybody essentially has been talking about the Epstein list. In fact, I know people who aren't really that interested in politics, and they are literally sick of how much they've seen Epstein in the past week. I've heard someone say, I wish I would stop seeing him on my feed. It keeps coming up every 3 reels or every 3 posts. It's something about the files. So it's everywhere. you just have to think, well, why are we being shown this? Why are we getting the chance to see these things and get these confirmations for a lot of it? And to be honest, I think a lot of you guys had it right. Some people were saying, oh, it's because they were checking Trump on Iran. I don't think that's the case at all. Other people were saying, oh, it was a fake leak, like it wasn't supposed to happen. I don't think that at all either. Other people were saying, oh, it's because we got people like Thomas Massey and we got good people in Congress and they're fighting against the system and they fought hard and they won and that's why we got the files. Yeah, I don't buy that shit either. And I truly believe the reason why we were shown all this, the reason why these things were released is because it's a power play. And you want to know why? Because even though we got all these files and we had all this stuff essentially confirmed to us, nothing's going to happen. There will be no justice. There will be no arrests. And now you have people saying, Jeffrey Epstein isn't even dead. They're saying, no, we see pictures of him. He's alive in Tel Aviv. He's over there right now. And I mean, that's a whole other conversation. But if you want my opinion on that in a nutshell, basically, I hate to say it, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter if Jeffrey Epstein is alive or if he's dead at this point, because you want to know why? If he's alive, all that means is he got away with it. Nothing bad is going to happen to him. He's in Tel Aviv. If that's the case, that's like the pedophile capital of Earth, okay? Nothing bad is going to happen to him. He is retired. All it means is he got out of the game, essentially. He's not operating for them anymore, Mossad, whatever. And so he's just retired, essentially, at this point. If that's true. I don't believe it 100% yet, but like I said, I don't really care because ultimately it doesn't really change much. All it means is that our own government helped him escape and that, he's never going to see any type of real justice. I like the idea of him being dead because that means he's dead. That means something happened to him at least. But that's basically my thoughts on him being alive. But essentially nothing is happening. FBI came out and said, we did an investigation and there's no confirmation on any pedophile ring Jeffrey was running. We determined that that was false. Really? So first of all, obviously, they're fucking full of shit. Second of all, if anybody who's watching this video believes anything, this government, this FBI, any of these people, what they say, I don't care if it's a Trump administration or a Kamala Harris administration, whatever. If you believe any of the shit that's coming from these people, you are mentally handicapped and you should not be allowed to vote at all. You should check out of politics. But yeah, they're coming out, they're saying there is no evidence, there's nothing like this, there's nothing like that. And it's like, dude, no justice is going to come from this. You're not going to have any arrests. And even if you do, it's not going to be enough. The amount of people involved with this, the amount of influence, if you've been paying attention as long as I have, with the Pizzagate, like right when it started, with the WikiLeaks coming out with Hillary Clinton's emails, all the stuff with John Podesta and his brother, all that jazz. If you've been paying attention like me for the past decade, you know there's a lot of people that are involved with this, and they haven't arrested anybody besides Maxwell. That's it. That's the one fucking person. They could arrest 100 people. It still would not be enough. They could execute 200 people. It wouldn't be enough. So no justice is coming from this. Now, are there good things that have come out from this? Yeah, I will admit that. With the files coming out, there are a lot of people in positions of power, politics, that have been kind of linked to this stuff, and they are dropping out. From what I can see, it's not really a lot of American politicians. Like I think in the UK, the Prime Minister over there, Keir Starmer, I think that's his name or whatever. I don't know that much about their politics. I don't really keep up with other countries that much, but I did do a little peek into the UK, and there's a lot of bullshit with him knowing certain people in his office essentially that were connected with Epstein, and he's been getting grilled, and essentially he's like the head of their version of the Democratic Party. It's called the Labor Party, and they're basically like fucked. Like, they're genuinely, like, fucked. And they were fucked before this shit came out. So it's, like, bad. I think they might actually kick him out of office. That's how, like, bad it is. I mean, the UK is already fucked, so I don't know if it matters too much. But there is a chance of things potentially getting better. for them because of this. So there are good things that are happening with these files coming out. I don't want to just sit here and say that there hasn't been any good. And we've learned a lot of newer information. The Bitcoin connection to poll, all these different things with 4chan. A lot of interesting facts have come out. Disgusting stuff too, but if you're like me and if you've been kind of keeping up for a long time, it's nothing new. You know, the disgusting shit, the pictures of like the kids, it's stuff that it's like, yeah, it sucks and it pisses me off, but this isn't new to me involving all of this. And so you have to ask yourself, well, if nothing's really going to happen, then why are they showing us this? Why is this happening? It's because it's a middle finger to the people who have been paying attention. Because it shows that it doesn't matter how many people know the truth or how many people find out the truth. The majority of the masses are retarded. The majority of the people don't actually really care. Something I've noticed from paying attention to all this stuff is how much performative outrage there is centered around this whole situation. I've seen several instances of people, liberals, even conservatives, but liberals especially, where they're basically like, I saw a video of a guy who was walking around a parking lot in front of Walmart and just yelling at people who voted for Trump. He's like, did you vote for Trump? Well, he's a pedophile and he's in the files and you're a piece of shit and you're a pedophile lover because you voted for Trump. And I'm watching like videos like this with these people yelling at people and bringing up the files and bringing up Epstein, and they always talk about Trump when they do that. And it's very clear to me, dude, this person doesn't actually give a fuck about the files. This person doesn't give a fuck about Pizzagate. This person doesn't give a fuck about the kids. All this is to them is just political ammunition to attack Trump supporters or to attack conservatives. And you know what? I've seen the vice versa. I've seen conservatives say the same shit. Oh, all these Democrats are in the files. All this shit's in the files. All these fucking liberals. I've seen both sides. And it's like, dude, it's very clear they don't give a fuck. It is extremely performative, and it is only to attack their political opposition. This was supposed to be something that brought all of us together in the sense that, hey, we don't want kids to get abused. Kids have been getting abused, and for the betterment of a foreign nation that is considered our greatest ally and even our own government, that should kind of bring us all together on some level. But no. It hasn't. And I think that's one of the reasons why they released the files the way they did. Because we have been socially engineered to a certain degree to where these people aren't stupid. Mossad, our own government. I know a lot of people say I give them too much credit, and they say they're very incompetent. You give them too much credit, Tom. But listen to me when I say this. Not all of them, but more than you would think, are a lot more intelligent than they let on. They are very capable of social engineering, masses. They're very good at propaganda. They know how we function, dude. They have this shit down to a T. They have this psyop shit down to an exact science. They know how we work. They know how to play on our emotions. And they knew that a part of this would be that a lot of people would not actually really care, and they would just use this as an excuse to just attack other people. Instead of asking real questions, it's just to attack Trump. And you want to know another reason why I know that's true is because I know a lot of liberals that the only reason they started asking for the files to get released is when Elon Musk tweeted out and said Trump was in the files. Or when people really started saying Trump was in the files and that's why he won't release them. That was the turning point moment for a lot of individuals that didn't care about the files to begin with to want them to get released because they hate Trump. And you want to know why I know that's true? Not only for that, but also during the 2024 election, I knew a lot of people that voted for Kamala Harris. Not a single fucking person, when I asked why, said because she's going to release the files. Because I want the Epstein files to get released. I know a lot of people that voted for Trump just because he said he would release the files. So a lot of this outrage I'm seeing from certain groups, 100% performative. It is just an opportunity for them to attack their political opposition, and that's pretty much it. They don't actually give a fuck about the kids. Now, is that everybody? No. I'm not going to sit here and say it's all liberals or all Democrats because that's not true. A lot of people, when they do get exposed to the pictures, like they haven't seen it before, They haven't heard about these things before. They haven't heard about Pizzagate. So they're getting all this at once. It's a lot for them. And it has fucked them up. So I don't want to sit here and say it's all people. So if you're a Democrat and you're watching this, you might be one of the good ones. I'm just calling a spade from what I've seen, because I've been paying attention to Pizzagate and this shit before Epstein was even quote unquote dead, before he was even arrested, before the majority of people even knew who that guy was. I've been paying attention. I've never seen that many Democrats give a fuck about this. In fact, a lot of them wanted a lot of this shit to be buried back in 2016 because it made Hillary Clinton look bad. And it played a pretty big role in her losing that election. So in my experience, it's always been people not wanting this stuff to come out. But that's one reason why it's a power play for them, why they released it the way they did, because they knew a lot of people would just take this as an opportunity to attack their opposition, essentially. But also, we have the other side, which is the people who are just straight up performative just to be performative. And I've seen this on all sides. I've seen people treat this almost exactly the way they treated Black Lives Matter during 2020. Remember when it was such a big thing with the BLM movement and all these fucking idiots started posting black squares on Instagram? Remember that gay bullshit? You remember that? I remember that. All these performative fucking white idiots on TikTok putting like blackface on or whatever the fuck, drawing shit on their face and crying to music or whatever, and then raising their fists. I remember all of that. None of those people gave a shit about George Floyd. None of those people actually cared. They did it because it was trending. And unfortunately, that's being replicated here. I've seen a lot of people do the same type of shit. And you want to know how I know that's the case? Because they've already moved on from it. You see these videos popping up on Instagram or on TikTok. They're kind of funny where it's people saying, oh, what halftime show do you like more, Kid Rock or Bad Bunny? And then the dude's like, motherfucker, our country's run by pedophiles. I don't give a shit. But that is a thing. The reason why people are making videos like that is because a lot of people have already moved on. They've already moved on to the next thing. It's part of the power play. Why did they show us these things? And we haven't seen all of it to begin with. They still have like half of them that they haven't released, but why? It clearly shows that the masses in America, the masses in the world in general, it doesn't matter what is true or what isn't. It doesn't matter what you put in front of them or what you don't put in front of them. They just don't give a shit. They either just don't care or they're too fucking stupid to realize what's going on, and so it doesn't bother them. And when it does, it only bothers them for a week. And so that righteous fury that we've kind of had for over a decade, that we've waited so long for a lot of this stuff to come out. You see it and you see how people react and you think maybe this will do something, and then you realize it won't do shit. The bread might be stale, the circus might be boring, but people are still eating the stale bread, people are still going to the boring circus, and that's all that matters. And I get it, life sucks. Nobody has any money. So it puts you in a position to where you look for comfort. You know, I can't imagine going up to a guy who has a bunch of kids and is in a shitty marriage and he has no money and his job sucks and his life is horrible and he just wants to watch the big game, man. He just wants to chill. Next thing he knows, a week before that, all this shit's coming out and your president's in this list and there's all these pedophiles everywhere and they're eating babies and all this fucked up shit. You're seeing all this shit and you're thinking, fuck, I just want to watch the Super Bowl. And you're kind of like locked out of it. Unfortunately, I have the suspicion, which isn't even a suspicion, it's just the acknowledgement that most people are kind of in that position. They don't care because they literally don't have it in them. And how can you blame them? That's kind of the point, right? With the way society's set up at this point, it's like it is made to break you. And it has. For most people, they're broken. And you know what? They just want to have a simple life. They just want to get by. They just want to chill and relax. And I shouldn't be so hard on people for wanting to watch a game or enjoy something. Because, I mean, even if you're super into football, football sucks ass so bad now. So I understand you're probably really pissed off about that. So I shouldn't rub that in. I get it. You want comforts. You want good things. I do the same thing. But it's kind of disheartening that it's like that's what happens nowadays. It really doesn't matter if something gets exposed, if something comes to light. There will be no justice. Not with this administration. Not with Trump. Not with the Democrats. Not with Israel. Not with any of these people that are in positions of power. We will have no justice. And unfortunately, it's just being bastardized in front of our very eyes with all these people just using it to attack each other and one-up each other like that fucking means anything, dude. It's so petty. It's so pathetic. So that's why I truly believe they were released, to be honest. It's just because they know nothing's going to happen, and it's just them telling you, hey, fuck you. We'll release everything. You won't touch us. Nothing will happen. Because, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they have one, truly. Obviously, they have to a certain degree, because if we can't even have the FBI come out and acknowledge that there's a pedophile ring that this dude was running, there's literally nothing that's going to come out of this. But you know what's another thing that I've seen from this? And this isn't about the power play. This is something else. And I actually recorded a separate video talking about just this, but I didn't make it into a video, obviously. But it kind of pissed me off. And it was the fact that there have been so many people since these files that have come out that have lied about the files. They have exaggerated them. An example of it is there's a guy who put out a picture on X, and it was an email, and it was essentially an email of Jeffrey Epstein confirming that he created Bitcoin. And it was a tweet of someone saying, Jeffrey Epstein is the creator of Bitcoin. He's behind it all. And it got a bunch of likes, got a bunch of views, and then the guy got called out, and it was fake. And then his defense of him posting this fake, photoshopped fucking email was him saying, oh, well, it might not be the real thing, but it's pretty similar. And then he posts the actual picture of the email of Jeffrey Epstein talking about Bitcoin. And it's like, dude, it's not the same thing at all. The real picture is Jeffrey Epstein talking about Bitcoin and that there's a connection of him buying into it early on. And then your picture is him admitting that he created Bitcoin. Those are two completely fucking different things. Why the fuck did you lie about this? Oh, because it's kind of similar. No, you did it because you're a grifting fat and you're trying to just make money off of this, or you're trying to just get attention. Another thing I saw, which this one was kind of weird for me because it wasn't even somebody who was grifting to make money. They straight up were just lying. And they posted a picture of a little girl, and it's a pretty disturbing picture. It's a little girl, and she has like duct tape or like tape on her arms on a table. And it's a picture, and they said this was one of the most disgusting pictures that dropped with the files. And it got all these views and all these likes and all these retweets. And dude, as soon as I saw the picture, I was like, wait a minute, this isn't in the files. This is from Pizzagate. This is from the Comet Ping Pong, the owner of that restaurant. It was from his Instagram account before he took his shit down. I remember this picture because before he set his account as private, I remember looking up his profile on my actual phone and seeing that fucking picture. So it set this thing off to me. I was like, why is this person saying this is from the Epstein files and that this just came out? This has been out since 2016. Why are they lying? And someone eventually corrected the poster, but they just did it just because they simply didn't fucking know. And so it's like, I get it. Pizzagate and Jeffrey Epstein are kind of connected, but also at the same time, they're not the same thing. Pizzagate is not the same thing, dude. The Epstein files are about Epstein. It's all about him. This picture you're showing has nothing to do with Epstein. It's a whole other group of people. Why the fuck are we lying? I've been seeing so many people bullshit about stuff and lie and make up stories, and it's honestly fucking insulting. Why the fuck do you need to lie about this stuff? The only thing we have at this point is the truth. That is the only thing we have. And I understand there's a good chance that with the files coming out, there's probably a lot of stuff in there that might not even be real. It could be a bunch of psyops they placed in there. Who knows? I get that. But the only thing we have is the truth. That's all we have on our side. We have no institutional power. We have nothing besides the truth. Why are we lying? Why are we making up shit? I've seen so many people do this, and I've seen so many people take it, not double check the record or the facts, and they just run with the first fucking thing they see. And it's like, dude, this is misinformation. I thought we weren't supposed to be the people that are doing this. Why are you doing this? Why are you talking about this shit that didn't happen? Why are you lying? Why are you photoshopping fake fucking emails? There's already a fuckload of emails that are fucking evil to begin with. There's already so much evil fucking shit that really happened. Why are you lying? Because every time you fucking do that, what you're telling me and everybody else is that the truth isn't good enough. And that what happened to those kids wasn't horrible enough. You have to fucking go out of your way and lie about it. You have to make up shit. Oh, well, it's kind of similar. Oh, well, I didn't know this wasn't part of files. I just thought it was. There was a picture. It looked creepy, so I posted it and said, what the fuck are we doing? Because some people are doing it to make money. Other people are doing it because they just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But other people, they're just doing it for fun. I'm guessing at this point, but why? Why are we lying about this shit? Like, honestly, that actually pisses me off more, to be quite honest, than the people just not giving a shit. Because I've come to accept the fact that the majority of Americans are just never going to wake up. It doesn't matter what you show them. It doesn't matter what you tell them. They don't care because they either just don't have it in them to care or they're just not capable of caring. And that doesn't mean we are better than them or we're above them in some way. There's a lot to all of this. I get it. The reason why I'm so invested is because I was there when shit was happening. Like, I remember people getting banned and getting their videos and their channels completely removed off YouTube before other people were even getting censored. Before YouTube started censoring people for COVID and all that shit, they were doing it for Pizzagate and for Jeffrey Epstein and for the files. That shit happened before all the COVID shit. So I remember all of it. So I get it. There's a lot of stuff to all of this, so I understand, but the masses, they're just not going to wake up. The elites, they know that. Mossad, the Jews, they know that. They know that the average everyday goyim just doesn't care. And you can show them videos, you can show them photos, you can show them emails, text messages, audio, whatever. It's not going to be enough. It could be in front of everybody on everyone's phone. A week later, they're going to be talking about something else. And then 2 weeks after that, the FBI is going to come out and say, there's nothing big here. Nothing's really going on. I mean, fuck, dude. Jeffrey Epstein could literally be alive. It does not matter. And I'm not telling people you shouldn't investigate this stuff. You can keep doing whatever, but it's like, I'm telling you, it literally does not matter. Because even if he is, what are you going to do? You're going to go over there and grab him? You're not doing that shit. And I guarantee you, your government isn't doing that shit either. They helped that motherfucker get there if that's the case. And that's why this is a big power play. It's so obvious at this point because there's never going to be a moment in this country where there's going to be some great awakening good enough to where we all get in line and we get this shit fixed. We all come together and fight the power. We all come together and change things. That's not going to happen. If there ever was a chance for that, it's a little too late. I think people are too plugged into the matrix. I think they're a little too distracted. I think they're too spent. And that doesn't mean I'm blackpilling. That doesn't mean I don't think there's a way to fix this. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other video. That's like an hour conversation, so we'll save that. But honestly, yeah, like this is depressing. And it's also more depressing with the people who are lying because these are people who are supposed to be on our side. And you see people who are, you know, they have platforms, they have big audiences, they're very big into like this sphere, this dissident right stuff, and they're just running with the most fucked up bullshit that's just straight up lies. It's just straight up untrue. Why? Why are you lying? Do you truly believe it's not good enough? Like the truth isn't good enough for people? And it's insulting. Honestly, I'm less angry at the people who literally called us crazy 10 years ago for believing in all this than I am at you for knowing all of this is real and for fucking lying about it. And if you're one of these fucking idiots, these retarded fuckers who's been doing that, to where you've just been posting fake images or misinformation or you've been lying about any of the stuff surrounding this subject, seriously, fuck you. What happened to these kids isn't horrible enough. You have to fucking make up bullshit. Like, honestly, kill yourself. Like, fuck you, dude. That honestly has pissed me off more than anything else surrounding all of this shit. And I've seen so much of it. I've seen the people use it as a way to attack each other because they're Trump supporters or they're Kamala supporters or whatever. I've seen people just not care. I've seen the government literally lie to my face and say there's nothing here. I've seen all of it. But the only thing pissing me off is you. And the fact that you would think that's okay, the fact that you think this does anything for you and for what we're trying to achieve here by lying and making up bullshit, honestly, when you die, I hope you fucking rot in hell. I hope you get fucking fuck you. Like, how dare you fucking do this? Like, I get it if somebody sees a picture and they think whatever, but the people who are actively lying, that's the thing that's like bothering me. Because I get it, some people lie just to lie, but it's the people that are lying and they're on our side. And they're doing it because they feel like it's the only way they can get people's attention so they can expose what's going on here. It doesn't matter how much you expose to the world. The people are retarded. The masses are retarded. They don't care. It shows. And they knew it. They knew it. They knew that this is what would happen. They knew it would divide more people. They knew a majority of people would just be performative and they would eventually just move on to something else. And they already have. They don't care. And the only time people are going to bring up the Epstein files is it's always going to just be used as a way to attack somebody that votes differently than them. That's it. It's not actually about bringing people to justice. It's just going to be used as a way for people to yell about it online so they can get views and likes. And that's the extent of it. All of this trial, all of this tribulation, all of these horrible things, all these people went through, all of the stuff so many people suffered through, it's just getting reduced to political ammunition. And I mean, maybe that's what it was always going to be, but that's why the files got released. I'm completely convinced at this point. And eventually we're going to get the rest of them. But ultimately, nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to change unless we get into power. And I understand that's like a whole other thing, but it's always going to be like this. So the best thing that we can do, honestly, at this point is just remember and to just not let it die, to just not let it become memory hold again, because that's what happened the first time. And another thing we need to do is we need to call out people just spreading bullshit, bro. It's gotten pretty bad. And I didn't really use a lot of examples, but there have been plenty of examples, and it's too much. But that's it. That's all I'm going to say about this. But what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think that's why the files got released? Do you think there's some other angle? And what's your opinion on all of this? Like, how do you feel about the people who are lying? How do you feel about the FBI coming out? Like, what do you think? And if you disagree, let me know. Explain why. Explain how I'm wrong, and explain how lying and bullshitting about all of this is what we need to do. I would love to hear you fucking defend that in the comments. I really would. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, liking the video, sharing these videos with your friends, commenting, and, hitting the bell notification. It really means a lot that we have this community and I can talk to you guys and we have these conversations. I'm really blessed and I'm grateful for you guys, all of you being here. So thank you so much. And if you haven't already, go ahead, follow me on Rumble. Be sure to follow me there. I'm always trying to get people over there because we need to have a second platform just in case if YouTube hits the kill switch. And follow me on X. I'm very active on X. I go pretty crazy on X, dude. It's kind of wild. But yeah, man, we have a lot of fun on X. So please go follow me over there. And guys, as always, Jesus Christ is King of Kings, Lord of Lords. America first, always and only. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all later.